The Society of Decorative Painters is an international not-for-profit organization dedicated to promoting the art of decorative painting. The certification program provides an opportunity for members to submit their work to be judged for certification. There are two levels of certification: the Certified Decorative Artist (CDA) and the Master Decorative Artist (MDA). It is extremely important that each applicant understand the work submitted must be entirely his or her own. In preparing and working on the entry, the applicant may not seek assistance or critique from anyone, including teachers, art students, or friends. Each year a new design is provided for the applicants. There is one opportunity each year to present work to be judged. This is just prior to the annual meeting and conference, which is held in the spring of each year. Entries are carefully judged and receive a critique. This entry into the certification still life category has already been judged and did pass with a score of 75%. This reenactment of the judging process will help applicants understand how the judges complete the critique forms. Please watch video number 1, Introduction to Certification, prior to watching this video. For best results, watch on full screen.
First thing that we do is we need to mark our critique forms with the number that we find here on the back of the board. This is C145, and we note that on the critique form. And we also put the initials of the judging team on the yellow sheet, which is the part that is kept in the office.
And also when the chair reads this again, if she has any questions,
yes,
this is how she knows which judging team to go back to and ask.
Right. Then we have an overlay of the line drawing, which we use to check. We lay this over the board to check to see if there's any elements missing. Mark that in the judging critique here.
That looks good.
Looks good.
So on this critique form, we usually start at the bottom under the finish. So we have finish, frame, background, neatness. And this gives us a good amount of time to, study the board before we get to some of these areas that are a little weighted, like the intensity, value, and color management.
And also we have this map, which we mark with numbers. The numbers correspond with areas that we might be talking about: too cool, untidy, too bright, so forth. And we mark the element with the numbers. So that this is really so helpful for the applicant because they can see right away what we're talking about.
So when you're reading your critique form, if you're confused on something that is said over here, we usually put a number, and then you can refer to that number over on the...
Right, on your map here. So,
first thing we're going to start with is the finish.
All right, and we check to see whether it is a nice, even finish. This is a beautiful finish. Mm-hmm. If there are any streaks or runs, we make note of that. But this is a very beautiful finish.
We also have a list of questions that we answer mm-hmm. on the right side. So myself writing the critique form, I will talk to my partner about, is there any runs, blisters, or impurities in the finish?
No, absolutely not.
Does the surface need additional or less finish?
No, and the frame is beautiful too.
Okay, I think that's a good overall finish. Mm-hmm. How about you? You agree?
I agree, definitely, okay. Definitely.
Now let's go to the frame.
All right.
This is the frame, this outer area. Is there any addition on the frame?
No.
How about the liner? Now this is the liner, the inside.
This would be the blue.
Is the liner supportive?
I think it is. It could be a little bit darker. It almost appears to be the same blue as what she's using in her design.
And my eye tends to maybe go from this blue to this blue.
Yeah, so this liner could be a little bit darker.
Okay, well, how about we suggest that to her?
All right.
So the frame liner is supportive.
Yes.
So I'm going to mark out is not, so that it reads frame liner is supportive, but maybe it could be a little bit darker.
Okay.
So the frame, are we going to say the frame it's not weak, obviously?
No.
No, maybe sufficient. What do you think?
Well,
Since we did mark a couple things over here.
I think it's sufficient.
Okay.
We should mark sufficient because there are a few minor
Right.
things that we did mark here.
I agree. Okay, now we're going to go to the background.
And this refers to the actual background
Right.
of the surface.
Is there any additions? Yeah, there's some foreground.
Yes, foreground lighting. And I think that I like it, but it does make the shadows appear cloudy and actually misplaced.
Yeah, a little bit confusing.
It is.
I see a little bit of a halo.
Absolutely.
Effect around
and in
here.
There.
Which it doesn't exactly go with her light source, since she's got a right light source.
That's correct.
And this halo's going to the right side.
Right.
If that was a shadow, that would actually be opposite the light source. So maybe that's where it looks could be a little confusing.
Yes.
What do
Yeah,
you think?
really. I think if she had kept it to the left, it would be much more effective.
Okay, so we're going to say the addition of the foreground lighting makes the shadows on the elements appear confusing.
All right.
Causing a dark halo effect.
There is no confusing. Okay, so I'm going to put distracting. I'll use distracting, which is 13. So I'm going to mark this here, this area, 13. There's a little bit of 13 over here. And then over here. Yeah, I think she needs a little bit more value control in the shadows. She needs more dark.
Right, well, she doesn't really have much of a shadow on the opposite of the light source, so I agree.
Yeah.
Next question is, placement of shadows is or is not consistent with light source? Well, we've already talked about that it is not consistent with the light source. How about some antiquing? Does she have any antiquing on this?
Not really, I don't think she does,
I don't think so either.
Mm-mm.
And there's no leafing, there's no border treatment. Choice of the color, value, and intensity of the background. I like it.
I do too.
Yeah, I think she did a nice job on that background.
I do too.
Very pleasing.
Good choice.
So it is supportive. Let's mark out adequate because it is supportive.
So this is an area where we take a real close look at the board here. We're looking for untidy edges, graphite lines, cleanup, any obvious areas.
Anything that's misshapen.
No, there was nothing misshapen, and we found that out with the overlay.
I see is there a little cleanup over here?
Yes,
maybe on the background?
right, yeah, right there.
Let's pull
and
that down.
a little bit right up in here.
Maybe it's
on the lid too. Right up here.
number 20.
20 as cleanup is evident. And we'll put that right in this area. And we'll put that right in this area.
Okay, neatness. So we have many untidy areas, minor untidy
Minor,
areas.
just those two.
Yeah, I think she's got an overall neat
I do
appearance.
too, definitely.
It's a nice, neat appearance. Okay, so next is line work and detail.
All right.
The addition of anything, the detailing
The
on those are
detailing on the
beautiful.
pansy, on the face is right. So that would be a number 2. We'll give her credit for that because that's really very, very well done.
I'm going to write her a little note here too, the addition of...
That's 2 is good.
Fancy faces and details on tulips are very nice. How about her long line work?
She's got some line work here, nicely done, very nicely done.
Okay, the next thing are her leaf veins. I think they look pretty good.
I do too. They follow the flow of the leaf.
I'd like to see them a little bit better. Just a little bit.
Yeah.
So maybe we can just give her a note on that.
A little bit of highlight maybe in the appropriate area.
Yeah. So they're well done, but could use a little bit more value change. How's that?
Okay.
You agree with that?
Yes.
So next thing is detail line work. She's got some, I think she's done a nice job on her detail line work. And that would be, you know, some of the pansy faces or some detail line work. So detail line work is quite nice.
Yes, I think it is.
Yeah, I agree.
And I've marked that with
So
number
we have
2.
some questions. Quality of detail work is inconsistent. No. Good detail work with minor exceptions.
Well,
Or excellent attention to detail.
I think it's good.
Yeah, good detail work with
yeah.
I agree. Okay, we're done with that. Next thing we have is her blending skills.
Petunias. Mark a 15 there, and 15 here.
It's very noticeable that this underblending, look at how it's, all these look like some lines coming in right here. Those could have been points all around there. Those could have been softened up a little bit.
Right. So I do have the 15 there.
Okay, I'll put on here that number 15 for the underblending.
And I think a little bit here on this particular leaf, there's a tint that appears somewhat underblended. So I will also put a 15 here.
That's probably pretty minor, though.
It is. Yeah. It really is. But you know what? If she goes on for her master's, she should be aware of these things.
Yeah, it's good to point this stuff out. So we've got some underblending. Don't really see any overblending, so we're going to just mark that out. And in some areas, it's just a few areas. Right?
Really?
Yeah, okay.
Really.
So we're just going to put a few. She's got some pretty good, overall, good blending skills also.
She's done a beautiful job here on the container and over here on the lid. I think I'm going to mark a 2, which is good. What do you think?
Oh, I agree.
Okay.
I also gave her overall good blending skills because she's done a really nice job with her blending.
She really has. Yeah.
Okay, the next area is intensity.
Okay.
I think she's got some really nice intensity control going.
I do too. Beautiful.
Look at how the eye just kind of flows around the design. It doesn't really, jump around from, bright colors.
I think it's really good. Very good.
Yeah, she's done an excellent job on her intensity.
And I think she should be marked that.
I agree. Yeah, I don't see anything. The intensity of the background is good. There's nothing jumping. Nothing's too bright. Nothing's too dull. I'll happily give her an excellent on that control of intensities. The next area we're going to talk about is value.
All right.
And let's start with at the bottom here. Shadows do or do not show adequate value change.
They do not.
Yeah, we talked about that over on the background area. So
I'm going to indicate a 5 also in this area.
Value of the background is supportive.
I think it is.
Value of anything causes the eye to jump. I don't really think there's any.
My eye does no.
How about anything flat? Lack of proper value change causes anything to appear flat.
Well, I think there are some areas right here in the strawberries. There's a little flat area. And over here too. And I marked those with a 5. Also here in the rim, the red rim here, that's a little bit flat. So
yeah, she could use some light value to bring this forward.
Yes, she could. So I'm marking that with a 5.
Okay, I'll put just C5.
Yeah, I think that would be. And I'm also putting a 4 there. That lacks value control and that these areas are flat.
Okay.
So that's a 4 and a 5.
All right.
And there's 2 strawberries.
More value control needed to create flow, interest, and form.
I think so, a little bit. She could have a little bit more light up in here in these petunias.
Yeah, I agree. They're a little
And-
dark
Yes.
for their position
Yeah.
in the design, I think. Don't you think?
Yes. Yes.
So I'm going to say more value control needed to create definite flow. Maybe not interest. I mean, there's a lot of interest in
Yeah,
here,
there
but
is interest.
the flow and the form.
This might be, for this back tulip, might be just a touch too light. They're almost both the same.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, I think this could be a little bit darker, and then she could have a little bit more of the light, because look, you cover up this part. See how bright these tulips are? If she brought a little bit more light up here into the petunias, I think that would have been...
Well, that would definitely create more flow.
Yeah, yeah.
So the light's kind of stuck right here.
Right.
If she had some more light up here, the eye would flow up here a little easier. Or a little too
Dark.
Is there a number for it? I think it's
too
number
dark.
6.
Yeah.
Yeah, number 6. It's too dark for their position in the design. Okay, the next question, the value of anything is too light for its position in the design.
Well, I do believe that this is a little bit too light. This is the center of interest, but these two are just about equal.
Yeah, my eye does tend to go
Yeah, you're bouncing.
from light to light to light right
So
there.
if this was just toned down a little bit less.
Yeah, a little more variety in the
Yeah.
in those. I think she's got overall good
I do
knowledge.
too.
I mean, we haven't said too much, just some little minor things over
Now,
here.
one more thing. I think up in here, she's lacking a little bit of form. Yeah, I think she is.
So you can
It's a
put
little
number.
bit dark. I'm going to put 6, and then 5, which is lacks form.
Okay, shall we give her an overall good?
Yes, I believe so.
I agree. Overall good. Next thing we have is color management.
Well,
And when we're looking at this, we're only looking at color, you know, the color management. So the temperature of anything that's too warm or cool? No,
no.
don't think so. Choice of the color for the background is supportive.
Yes.
I agree. Color for the cast rest and shadows is consistent with
yes,
the color scheme.
Yes.
Yeah, it's the same color as the background, so that is consistent. The color of anything causes the eye to jump from one to another. Do we see any of that jumping going on?
No.
No, she's laid her colors out pretty well.
No, she has, yeah.
How about adequate repetition of color?
Well, yeah, I would say yellow. She's got some yellow in the pansy centers. It would be nice if she'd added it somewhere else.
Yeah, you do have to hunt for the yellow, don't
Yes, you really do.
Well, she's got some yellow in the centers.
I think she could, and it appears some yellow up in here. I think she could use a little bit more. She could have had it perhaps in these filler flowers, maybe carried through a little bit more on the leaves here. A little bit stronger yellow.
Yeah, I think she could use a little bit more yellow. It'd be nice if she would have had a yellow element instead of, you know, just using the yellow in her centers. That could have helped too.
Yes, it could have.
Or maybe the yellow in these filler flowers could have been a little stronger.
Well, definitely. That's
to carry
that's
the
what I
eye.
said. That would have been very, very nice.
Okay. Okay, how about her color balance? Has it been handled well, or?
Well, outside the yellow.
Yeah, it
Fair.
has been handled well. I'll make a note about the yellow.
Okay.
Let's put it except the yellow. Next question. The color for anything appears to be on the limits of the color scheme?
No.
No.
Not
She
at
did
all.
a good job with that.
Yeah, she did.
And her color harmony.
I think it's very nice.
Yeah, her colors look well together. I mean, they
Yes. They
flow nicely together.
They really do.
And that shows good color harmony. So that's been handled well. So how about overall good control of color harmony
I
and
agree.
balance?
I agree.
Okay, now let's come up to the overall effect.
Okay.
Nothing omitted.
No.
the addition of the, any additions she added? She's got some nice detailing.
She does. And the pansies there.
And the tulips.
Mm-hmm. Very nice.
Let's give her a nice...
Yes.
I'm going to tell her that's lovely. Her detailing is lovely. And the background and frame is supportive?
Yes.
We said over here it was. Okay. Definite light source is established?
Yes.
Anything disrupts the flow of the design?
No.
No, I don't think so either.
Not at all.
It flows very nicely. Lack of value and intensity control? She's got some
minor
lack of value. We gave her such a nice score on her intensity, but there's some value going on. So I'm just going to say
it's
some lack of value.
4 and 5. Yeah.
Just going to give her some lack of value. Mark out intensity.
Yeah, that would be the areas of 4 and 5 if you.
Use of color has.
Oh yes.
Been handled. Center of interest appears to be well established.
Yes, we have it here with the tulips.
Yeah.
On the right here.
And the center of interest appears to be the tulip area, right?
Mm-hmm.
On
Yes.
the right side.
Yes. Love this pansy. Just love that.
So we've got some pleasing and interesting interpretation of the design.
Yes, definitely.
I don't think it lacks any interest areas.
No.
Several good areas, but improvement needed.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Definitely. Yes.
And her value.
Review this. Here's the map, and then I'll read it, and you make sure that I've got the correct numbers in there. Okay. So on her finish, it's overall good. Okay. On the frame, the liner is supportive. Could be a little bit darker, we said. So it was sufficient. The choice of color value intensity is supportive. And again, we said the blue is a little bit intense.
So we try to point out where your mistakes were made and not focus in as much on where you didn't make a mistake, because if you didn't make a mistake, you've got it.
Right.
Run with it.
I think it's hard for the applicant to, after they worked so hard on this, to get the critique back. And maybe they're not looking at some of the good things that we said, but they're only looking at the negative, and they take that negative in and
yes.
Maybe not want to ever do this again because they don't want to hear anything negative. But our goal is always to help you grow.
And you know, very often when you do get a non-passing critique, there's always disappointment. Always. So if you can allow a little bit of time to bypass that and then read your critique again, and perhaps you'll see it in a light that we have meant it to be, as something that will help you grow and learn and become a better painter.
We hope that this has brought a clarity of how the judging process is done, and we hope that you will be ever prudent and ever faithful in your journey to achieve your MDA or CDA, or just excellence in your painting.
Absolutely.
Good luck to you.
Good luck.
Good luck.